he just meant that much. But,
yeah, the documentary, the Gonzo documentary, that was the first time I ever really got to see you talk about him. And, you're kind of the glue that holds that documentary together because you're sort of the rational observer that was there during all the wildest and most mad times.
He had, I mean, everybody loved to be with Hunter. I mean, you couldn't get enough of being with Hunter, and including me after having Hunter for so much. When you were with Hunter, you were felt you're going to have more fun and become close to the edge and of craziness and danger than you ever were going to in your life. Just getting in the car with Hunter, he would always have to do something that scare the piss out of you. U-turns in the middle of a snowbound highway. And one night we were driving from Cambridge to New Hampshire to visit Norman Mailer for some strange reason. We had spent the night in Cambridge and we had taken some acid. And we got on the road, head full of acid, driving up in the middle of the night to Maine, and it's all mountain roads. And so we go along, and then all of a sudden, Hunter would turn the headlights off. And, I mean, you have mixed feelings at this point. I've by this time developed this sense that I'm safe with Hunter. No matter how crazy he is, he knows what he's doing all the time, which he did. So on the other hand, he liked the idea of freaking people out. So I would go, Hunter, stop it, and it would just make him happier to know that I was freaking out. So it was partly just to keep him going. But then I realized what he was doing is he was looking ahead 2 bends and memorizing the curves ahead so they could turn off the lights, which is risky in itself. But we got to Mailer's. We were visiting a colleague of ours who was staying at my house. We had the night before when taking acid made a tape on an old cassette tape of scream, like an exorcism, and screaming in the house, the ghouls going nuts. So we get up there at 7 a.m. in the morning and set the tape deck in the kitchen of the house, punch it so it starts with the screaming at top volume, and run out the door and don't come back. Well, he loved to do that. So we'd steal restaurant signs and that. I mean, there's all sorts of madness and crazy. And it was fun, and it was innocent. It was like being a kid. In part, Hunter was a big kid, but also, he was just a wonderful guy. And, of course, the funniest writer ever. I enjoyed his copy would come in. I just laughed my head off at some of the things he'd say. I mean, unbelievably funny.
I think the first thing I read was the Vegas story. Mm-hmm. That was one of the first pieces I ever read of him. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, who the fuck writes like this? It was, I don't remember how old I was when I read it, but, it was before, I think it was before or around the time Johnny Depp played him in the movie.
No, much before.
No,
when you read it.
When I read it, yeah. Because I think the movie introduced me to him.
The movie introduced you to Hunter?
Yeah.
Wow.